hell is this, man? Oh, damn. I didn't even know I was up. Hey, guys, what's up? Good morning. It's your boy, Talk Williams, hosting creative Hip Hop 50. If y'all see the t-shirt, man, it's just some old school hip hop. That's all. Ain't nothing to it. Ain't a whole lot to it. But I want to say great Monday to everybody. Good Monday to everybody. And if it's not so good of a Monday, I hope things get better for you throughout the week. Yeah. I'm about to have my breakfast, man. You know, I come down to the lake sometimes, and even though most of the people that come down there to the lake, especially in the morning, and I do it too, they either bike ride, they working out. I don't do the working out part, but I do the bike ride and I go for the walk, talk, whatever like that. But this morning, I drove down and I'm about to have me some McDonald's breakfast, man. It's real simple today, man. Real simple. Some Mickey D's. I don't eat beef or pork, so it ain't nothing but the hot cakes with the egg and the so-called biscuit, right? That's all it is. It come with the sausages, but when I make my order, I tell them take the sausages out, cause I don't mess around with the sausages, man. You know. Hold on. My bad. I'm back. Yeah. Yeah, this morning, man, I just need a quick fix on the breakfast. And I just wanted to do it down here on the lake. It's beautiful out here, man. Like I said, most people that down here working out, getting their stretch in, getting that mental psychic going, man. They doing what they do. Get their week consistency, man. We are what we do. What we do consistently anyway, right? Anyway, I I saw some crazy, oh excuse me. I saw some crazy stuff this weekend that I'm probably gonna do a live about later on. And it's all about the state of mind, the story we tell ourselves, man. I mean, I'm old enough to know that from relationships I've been in, when the communication break down, no matter whose side it's on, the women's side, the men's side, it doesn't matter which side that is on. When the communications break down, people will fill in the blanks, man. And the story we tell ourselves can make things far more grim or worse, pessimistic. It's man, as tough as it is, as we try to just deal with our loved ones and people we in significant relationships with, and we try to avoid like confrontation, like getting into like heavy stuff. You're getting on my nerves and all of that. I tell you, man, what's even more worse than that is the silence that comes from not communicating. That intentional quieting, man, that can ruin everything because we tell ourselves the story. Anything that we don't know, we not sure in, we fill in the blanks, man. And you and I both know we typically don't have a high accuracy rate when we start doing that. We just don't. And it's unfortunate, but I don't know. I've been guilty of it. I must say, I've been guilty of it in relationships. I mean, I'm single now, but I'll be the last to say that that's not why I'm single. That might have part to do with it. It might have something to do with it because I've been very guilty of that, man. Intentionally stepping back from the communication. I tell you, man, it's not a good thing. I just have to say it's not. Yeah. But anyway, how was you guys' weekend, man? What's going on? What's on tap? Y'all know me. I like the AI thing. I like the artificial intelligence. I talked to some people and they was like, nah, Talk, I don't mess around with that. Let me see if I can see the comments. It says, time. Talk Williams, top of the morning. Have a productive Monday today. Stay consistent and healthy. I want to say thank you for that, Time. I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know if Time is a person or a bot, but I almost don't even want to know. Isn't that crazy how artificial intelligence, I'm being acclimated and acculturated through artificial intelligence? You say, well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'll give you an example. On all of my lives, the few that, whoever the person Time is, that they've been on, they always say something encouraging. They always say something, that's fruitful, that's optimistic, that's embracing, that people, at least for me anyway, you want to hear, right? And so think about AI, think about artificial intelligence. I don't even want to know if Time is a bot because I like the consistent message. I'm just not saying that Time is a bot. I'm using that as an example. Now, if Time was all of a sudden consistently critiquing and different things like that, then I would click on the 3 drop downs. I would go to the channel. I would look to see if that person in the chat has any subscribers, what type of activity they have on their channel, and then I would make a quick decision at that point in my mind and say, oh, this is a bot. Let me block them from the channel. I'm just giving you the mechanics and the psychic behind it. That's me. Others may approach it differently. I'm just letting you know how I approach it. But I gotta cut these pancakes up quick, man. I mean, it's not cold, but these pancakes are airy. Just to the temperature. We got a little breeze out here, 70-something degrees. I don't need it too hot, especially once I put the syrup on it, man. I'm telling you, I understand, I get it. I'm down here on the lake watching people ride bikes and work out and practice their Mr. Miyagi karate and WMA, whatever they do. And I'm down here syruping it up on the hot cakes, as well as the fresh butter on the biscuit for the eggs. The hash brown I might not eat. And the napkins they didn't give me, so I gotta use the paper bag and drown it with my coffee, man. That's good. Let me see. No, I was just checking. The Bebop. Sir, no disrespect, but are you a black man or a Latino? I'm confused. Nah. There's no disrespect. There's no disrespect. I am a black man, but I'm not a Latino. There's no disrespect. No. Hell no. Why? These glasses I'm wearing, they have the lens thing. So the light out here changes the lens, the tints or whatever, right? It's the light. It's not like I'm out here with a dark pair of shades on or something. Man, I feel crazy, man. Everywhere I look, somebody riding by on a bike. They doing pull-ups on the gym, on the outdoor playground over there. The women are right here over there. They working out, doing that. I love it, man. While I'm sitting there eating this fucking big breakfast. Look at it. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. Look, Tom says, I'm a real person, family, and I'm a cinnamon French toast type of brother in the morning. Ha! That's what I'm talking about, man. Ain't nothing like, listen, man. Hey, I love my breakfast, man. I might eat a late lunch every now and then. I forget dinner and grab something late on in the evening, but I am a break fast type dude. And I know breakfast ain't the best meal because that's where we get a lot of those empty starches and other stuff. But every now and then I do it real healthy. But this morning, I'm out here making a commercial, man. Out here making a commercial. Isn't it beautiful out here? That's Lake Michigan. That's what that is. That's Lake Michigan, man. The ambient sound, the weather, the people, that's what makes it so fucking dope to me, man. That whole shit. Yeah. I appreciate that though, Tom. I was just using it as an example, right? So, Tom, let me ask you, do you use any AI tools? Do you guys use any artificial intelligence tools? I am actually, yesterday, a friend of mine in the Inglewood neighborhood of Chicago, he actually invited me over because I've been asking him to try to get me some space in one of the communities where I could come and have access for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe twice a week. And as a result of that, he called me yesterday and he was like, Talk, what you doing? I'm like, nothing, why, what's up? He said, man, I think I found some space for you. Can you come through? So I came through, and when I went through, he was like, look, man, what about right here? And I'm like, this is dope. So when I say space, I basically mean like a room, an area where I could set up like a desk and some chairs and different things like that to work from, right? And I wanted to do it in one of the communities that were, you could say, low socioeconomic or challenged in some areas of it. Because what I want to do is I want to teach AI literacy. That's what I want to start. I want to start a artificial intelligence literacy course in one of the community centers in Chicago, in one of the neighborhoods. Now, off the grip, meaning off the rip, meaning ideally, or at first thought, people would say, well, you don't need a room for that because everything is done online. You could do it all from computers, different things like that. That's true. Hold up, that's my alarm. Hold up, hold up. I apologize, that's my alarm going off. What I'm gonna be doing is, what I was saying was, people say, well, if it's artificial intelligence, you can just do it online. That's true. But see, here's what I found out about human nature. Because I'm doing it for young adults, 21 and overs, right? Not kids, young adults, because I can't deal with the kids. I just can't. I don't have I can't. I'm not that good with these under 21s. I promise you, I can't do it. They'll run me up out of there. But with the young adults, 21 and over, sometimes, many times, People are not just a click away. They're not an install away. But some people, depending on their background, their education, what they've been exposed to, they need to have conversations with human beings, man. And that's one of the biggest challenges I found out about technology in and of itself, but definitely when it comes to artificial intelligence in terms of people's exposure and understanding. Sometimes people are a conversation away from awareness or those three stages. I did a little piece I was talking about, and it just came off the top of my head. And I was talking about for the year 2026, the three the must-haves in terms of the ideas of AI for people who have no real clue would be awareness, literacy, and adoption, right? So awareness, just becoming aware of the AI, what it is, what's out there, what's going on. Some literacy, some way of seeing it, touching it, making it tangible, empirical, and of course, adoption. Identifying that use case for you personally or your business or your church or organization, friend of yours, your kids, it doesn't matter, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not a tech guru. I'm gonna teach y'all how to code. I'm gonna teach you how to program. That's not what I'm up to. What I'm up to is the person who just has a question or just needs somebody to demystify what that is. So that might be the 50-year-old or the 60-year-old who think it has nothing to do with them and that they don't need to be aware of it, even in the sense of identifying a use case for it. Or it might be the 21-year-old who says, hey, I'm not sure, or what about this? Because how I've learned is unique in and of itself, because that's my approach to learning. It's not the best approach, but typically how I learn new things, especially in the area of the domain, the space of technology, I demystify it. Meaning, I try to remove this idea that you were supposed to get exposure to this, or you were supposed to learn this some years ago. You were supposed to have a degree in this some years ago. You should have followed this curriculum, this track to postgraduate, undergrad, whatever that is when it comes to technology. So the idea is you want to demystify that. And how I typically do it when I'm learning new technology is I approach it from a principles and concepts. I approach it from a base foundation, because all of those things already exist in real life. So I approach it from there. I know it sounds a little confusing. I'm getting a little twisted with my words. That's because this coffee kicking in and my pancakes trying to get cold on me. But after I demystify, meaning it's not going to scare me away because I appear to be late and becoming exposed to it, or even later and trying to learn some things about it, I demystify that. I run the fear factor off. Then it's already built. People are already using it. Then I deconstruct it. Deconstruct it, right? How do I approach it? So take like something like database administration, right? Somebody talks to me and they say, yeah, I wanted to get into databases by having a clue, and I'm 35 years old and I've been dumping trash for the last 17 years, and now I want to come over to the technology space and, database stuff. How they pull it out, how do they get it, what happens? And just using that as a quick example, what I share with people immediately is CRUD. I share the CRUD because they know what CRUD is, especially a garbage man. He knows what CRUD is, C-R-U-D. And he says, well, what is that? Well, in the trash can space, you know what CRUD is. Yeah, sure, all right. Well, over in the database space, CRUD is create, read, update, and delete. And he says, well, what's that? Those are basically the four operations that you're going to do in any type of database. You're going to create some information. You're going to read it. You're going to update it. You're going to delete it. Now, there's going to be different variations of that. There's going to be something called upserts. There's going to be something called is deleted, falses and trues and all of that. But your branch logic will take you to those areas and you will learn those things. But the base foundation is you're either creating something in the database, you're updating something in the database, you're reading something in the database, you're deleting or modifying. And then I express that because that's base, that's foundational operations. And all those 3,000 things you can do in SQL and write the commands in T-SQL is just, this is the way you ask a question to the database. You ask it through some type of syntax. What is the syntax? Some type of language. That's it. Not that's it, but that's my approach. That's what I share with people. Foundational principles and concepts about the technology to try to get them to see that whatever's going on in the tech world, it existed prior to the technology presenting it. It's the same way with artificial intelligence. You look at something like a ChatGPT, OpenAI's ChatGPT. You look at something like an Anthropic Claude. You look at something like Google's Gemini. You look at You look at something like Elon Musk's what he has, Grok. You look at just the different ones, the different LLMs, the large language models, and you say, well, wow, they different. Yeah, they're unique and they different, and they're uniquely the same. So you don't have to teach a person, you don't have to like run a person away by saying, oh, you need to understand what LLMs are, large language models. And you need to understand what RAG is, retrieval augmented generative. You need to understand what CAG is. No. It's probably more easier for a person that's lived without that background to understand some key concepts, right? So if somebody say, well, how can I understand it? They say, well, the brain, they say, is a collection of nerves. Would you agree with that? I say, yeah. And so that's why you hear them refer to our brain, or the way it works, as a neural network. It's a network of nerves. Neuro, nerves, network. Yeah, okay. Well, over there in that OpenAI and ChatGPT, which invited everybody in their living rooms and kitchens to actually say, hey, this is what it is. Yeah, that, right? That's what they're trying to mimic. They're trying to mimic the neural network, the bundle and sequence and feature sets and functions of a human's mind. Yep, the synapses and axons and all of that weirdy, brainy stuff. That's what they're trying to mimic. They're trying to reach that. Is it sentient? Is it like a human? Does it get it? And they say, oh, that's what they want. Yeah. Now they call it something different. Oh, they do? Yeah. They say it's AI. And then under that, they say it's a subset called machine learning. Then under that, they say it's neural networks, arrays, matrices, lattices. Under that, it's deep learning. Then you say, damn, you got machine learning and deep learning? Yeah, but deep learning is just an amplified version of machine learning where it involves more than 3 layers inside that array, inside that matrix, inside that neural network. It's that, instead of the guy at church, it's the Buddhist monk. Oh, okay. I know all of that. I'm just running my mouth off the dome. But I'm just saying, ideally. So those conversations that I would have with young adults, and I know people that know, they say, well, why wouldn't they understand that? Why wouldn't they do? Well, there's probably domains and spaces, whether it be professional or personal, whether it be in your neighborhood or whatever that is, that you wouldn't understand, that you wouldn't get. That those people who don't understand the technology or the idea of why they would even embrace or even search or even play with artificial intelligence to identify a use case as a tool or resource or something to augment. Because that's the big word now, augmentation, augmentation. Because that means to improve and make better. But we know that term augment It's going to be around for a minute, but it's going to fade away into the sunset. And you're going to hear replace. Because before replace, that's what you get. You get augment. You get, oh, this is just here to augment. And then they say replace. But anyway, that's what I want to do in this one community in Chicago. Is actually the Inglewood community of Chicago. And the brother over there, see, that's the thing, right? This brother isn't a technologist, and that's why you want to network with people and meet people, because even though this guy's not a technologist, he understands that it would be nice to have that service, information services, that's all it is, right? Available, especially in that community where people who come there anyway can stop by, can attend maybe a seminar I'll give and invite guests and different things like that. Because my goal is not to be a guru in AI and have the people in that community saying, oh, it's this guy over there, man, he's real knowledgeable about AI. No, my goal is to empower people, to assist them where they are in their understanding, and maybe expose them to some more why, so they can get their why up. Because once a person can get a why going, a W-H-Y, then we can deal with the other four and the H. What's the other four? Well, if you have a why, then all of a sudden you have a when or where or who. What's the other one I'm looking for? A what? And then you can throw the big H in there, a how, right? And that's what I'm on. But anyway, I said all that to say that. Yeah. So the goal is to get that going in that community center, empower somebody there to run it for the community, and then go to another area and do it again and replicate it. Because I just want to get them started. They don't need me. I'm nobody. I just want to get it started. Damn. I need a microwave. Let me look around, see if I see a microwave. No, I don't think so. Ain't no microwaves. It's on me. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. It might start off rough, but just don't deviate from your path too much. Because even though it might be raining or cloudy where you are, and I'm not talking about the weather of outdoors, I'm talking about the weather in your mind and your heart and your spirit, what might be going on with you. It'll pass. That sun will be back out. You'll be smiling, feeling good. But if we deviate too far from the path when that's happening, to get out the way, when it come back out, it won't hit us. It's never enjoyable, but to a large degree, we have to go through things. That's just the reality. And anybody that lives a life where the attempt to escape every pain, every time, every discomfort, every stretch, every ache, I don't know. I don't subscribe to that. I don't know. Here's what I do know, though. Google, on the AI tip, I'm saying to you guys, if you aren't already using it, Google NotebookLM. Listen to what I'm saying. And don't pay for the $20 a month. Use the free version. There's plenty of it there so you can see if it's a good tool for you. Listen to what I'm saying. Google NotebookLM. I might be saying that funny. It might sound like I can't say Google, like Google, but please, somebody, try Google NotebookLM. What is it? Google NotebookLM is an application that's built on top of Google's AI, which is Gemini. the dope part about the Google LM or the Google Notebook LM, like Notebook LM, and I'm thinking LM says is, I don't know, maybe it means language model or something, but Google's Notebook LM. Please try it. If you got a Gmail address, they're gonna let you use it for free. You can use it for free. Ain't no trial version. You can just use the free version. There's plenty there. It's all about resources. Not only does it do resources, it lets you bring resources in. Here's what it does. Let me say what it does. If somebody was to walk up to me and say, "Talk, have you heard of Google Notebook LM?" I would say, "Yeah, I've heard of Google's Notebook LM." And they would say, "Well, what is it?" I say, "Look, when I first started using these chat bots and AI, I was probably like 95% of the people that doesn't have a background in it. I was introduced to it through OpenAI's ChatGPT. That was my first rush excitement. I got my own R2D2 for you guys that's over 50. You understand what I'm talking about? And it's off and running. This is dope. I got it on my phone, on my laptop, boom. Well, as we know, other tech giants came out with their LLMs. Google has Gemini. I'm not talking about the Google LLM or chatbot that embarrassed Google some years ago, a couple years ago, when they tried to stun out on OpenAI. No, I'm talking about the 2.5 that was released this year. That ain't no game. That ain't the one that flopped. So if any of y'all thinking, "Yeah, but I heard that had flopped," you talking about over 24 months ago. I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about that day. That Gemini 2.5 that's out, that ain't no game, okay? So, Google's Notebook LM allows you to essentially bring resources in, and it kind of just says, you know what? We're gonna apply the large language model. We're gonna apply this chat bot, but we're only gonna do it to the resources you bring in. And you say, well, what's the difference between that and OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Grok 4.5, or whatever's out, right? Here's the difference. Now you have a notebook. You just create a notebook. You're bringing in the website, the YouTube channel. You're bringing in the PDFs. You're bringing in the copy and paste. You're bringing in all of these different resources with different formats, whether it be web links, copy and paste text that you put in, you copy off a website, whether it be a YouTube channel, whether it be a source through an API, you're bringing in sources. Then you get to go into that chat in that window and tell Google Notebook LM what to focus on based on the sources that you've brought into that notebook, that specific notebook. You might name it whatever the subject matter is, and you bringing in the sources that just deal with that subject matter. Google Notebook will highlight those areas. It will run the LLM just on the sources that you make available for that subject matter that you named that notebook. It will do a FAQ for you based on them sources. It will do a study guide for you based on those sources. It will do a mind map. You guys know what a mind map is. A mind map is more of a taxonomic, hierarchical, visual presentation of key terms or headings or subheadings that drill out, or they express themselves like branches of logic about what's being talked about, like a taxonomy almost, a hierarchy. It's dope. It's very visual, and it will do a audio overview. What do I mean by audio overview? Go to Google Notebook LM. Whatever resources you bring, whatever sources you bring in, you can tell it, do an audio overview, and it will take two voices, a female and a male, that's what it sounds like, and they'll say, let's take a deep dive on this subject. Time has shared with us that time likes cinnamon buns or cinnamon rolls in the morning for breakfast. And then you'll hear the lady talking. Oh, that's interesting, because when I was growing up, I really liked the cinnamon raisin buns and this, that, and that. They'll have a whole goddamn podcast conversation over a resource that you selected. That's what I'm saying. Study guide, FAQ, mind map, audio overview, and the way I'm hearing it now, it's already been released, but I haven't seen it in mine. They're about to do the video overview on resources that you bring in and on the focus that you tell it to focus on the certain areas of the resources. You get to generate a default, a long version, or a short version. I'm just throwing it all out there. I'm highly suggesting to you guys, check out Google NotebookLM, because what it does essentially is it allows you to create multiple notebooks and organize your use of those sources and what you're bringing in, so that you can just run the LLM against those sources in a more deliberate and intentional way, instead of you just going out there to a ChatGPT or to a Claude or to a Grok and saying, what's the best this? And it goes out there and decides. No, you're deciding the sources. You're telling it, here go the sources I want you to consider. This PDF, these websites, and these 2 YouTube channels, and I got some copy and paste I typed in or I grabbed off of some other site. And I want you to focus on this. And it goes right in. I know I sound crazy, crackheadish, because I'm eating pancakes on the lake. While everybody else is running by all buffed and shit, riding their bikes, looking at me with the how could you look? Easy, look. Google Notebook LM. That's it. All right. Who's this? James Fields. Yeah, I'm just telling you. Somebody was asking me about, because we was talking about not open AI, but we was talking about AI, period. And the guy was saying, so just to let you guys know, most of the people that I engage in conversations with when it comes to artificial intelligence, the uses, the tools, the use cases, the tools, the resources, these are people who don't necessarily have a conventional or deliberate background in IT, meaning they didn't go to school for computer science. They didn't go to school to be any type of technologist as we would typically know it. So they don't have a background in programming and coding and different things like that. So I'm talking to a guy the other day, and he says, yeah, man, I'm about to take a deep dive into this and this, that, and that. Now, what these people do have is they have education in other areas. They have lived, they're 35, they're 30, they're 55, they're 60, any range along there. So they've lived. So that means that they have some stability, they have some focus, they have some lessons learned, and they have some intentional effort about either a career change or to enhance what they currently do, to take advantage of maybe some upward mobility where they currently work at or whatever that is, or maybe they're helping their organization or their own business, a church or something out, whatever it is, right? But you don't need to have that, because I know this is going to sound crazy, but this is what I told a group of guys the other day. If you've never coded a day in your life, this is the easiest time. And I know easy, I should use a different word. I'll use doable. Right now, with the advent of artificial intelligence, the coding assistants, the chatbots, And when I say the coding assistants and the chat bots, I mean the OpenAI ChatGPT, I mean the Google Gemini's, I mean the Salesforce Einstein. So when I'm saying the product, the second thing naming it is the AI engine. Adobe has Firefly, Salesforce, the #1 CRM in the world. They have Einstein, even Khan Academy and Udemy. They have some version of AI or large language model there. Even in law, the lawyers, they have their version of LLMs or large language models, which essentially is the chat bots or whatever. When it comes to coding assistants, things that'll help you learn how to code, you have Google AI Studio, a whole fucking studio. Google AI Studio, you have Cursor, and it's not like a cursor too, surprisingly enough. Cursor, yeah, I think. I'm just thinking. And then you have Claude, Claude, which is another coding assistant. So what I was telling the guy was, if you've never in your life coded before because you think you didn't have the IQ, because you think you didn't have the math that it took, because it doesn't matter what the reason was. Your parents was telling you you can't count or think, whatever it was. This is probably the most doable time for people who have never had a background or experience in writing code to learn it. I say it again because I stand on it, because I can qualify my statement in my own way. We live in the most doable, because I'm removing the easy part. That wasn't a good choice of words. We live in the most doable time for people with no background whatsoever in coding languages to learn how to code. Why? Because of what's available, how easy it's available. I mean, if you think of I could just name, let's say two things most developers would use, which is the IDE and probably GitHub. So the IDE would be, what is it? The integrated development environment, right? So they say, well, what's that, Talk? IDE, what is that? What is that? Oh, it's just a software or app or shell or an interface or an app that opens up. And that's where you're going to do your coding at. That's all. It's like opening up Explorer on your Windows. That's all. It's not that's all as if it's nothing. It's important. That's your environment. That's where you're going to go code. That's where you're going to get these libraries. This is where you're going to get help. This is where you're going to find errors. This is where you're going to type it in and all that and look smart and sound great. But then you got GitHub. What's that? That's version control. That's where you put it up there, so when you out there at Starbucks and you typing your stuff in and somebody come by and steal your computer, when you get another computer, guess what? Your stuff is sitting up there in a repository that backs it up and also keeps every version of every change that you've made. And you say, damn, I didn't know that exists. That's why I'm saying to you guys, you want to focus on foundational information, foundational tools and resources. You don't have to become a brainiac no more. That's over with. That dude with the high IQ, I'm not impressed no more. Why? Because we got AI. Everybody got an R2D2. You can flip it right out. Look, I know that too. Look, I can show you that. Anybody, homeless guy, I'm on crack, it don't even matter. So when you roll up on me knowing trigonometry, I can know it in 5 minutes. And what? The question is, what are you doing with it? What is your use case? How do we identify a practical use that, as they say, can augment, improve, make better our situation, whether it's with streamlining the process, helping us understand things, allowing us to teach, whatever that is, whatever the use case is. All right, I'm done. That's all I got. That's all y'all getting. That's it. I'm out, man. I ain't gonna leave no trash. Take all my trash with me. Peace.